Hey, friends! Just so you know, we enjoy the swear word and we rely on good old fashioned humor to get through some seriously dark subject matter. At no time do we intend any disrespect toward the victims or families of the victims in the cases we cover. Also, be sure to listen to the end for a few palate cleansing bloopers to reset your mindset. And with that, we thank you for listening and we hope you enjoy. Hey, friends, welcome to Crime Will Tell. I'm Carrie.
And I'm Jamie.
Welcome back for another episode of CWT.
Yeah.
So today I'm sharing two cases that are both recent cases. And so they're actually still both ongoing,
Oh, okay.
relevant news kind of thing. So there's not a lot of depth in the information yet that's out there. The first case we'll talk about is a murder for hire plot
Ugh.
that thankfully was discovered and shut down before the intended victim was harmed.
Oh, good.
The second
Bonus.
case we'll discuss is about a 14-year-old who was murdered by her ex-boyfriend on August 20th.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, so like 3 weeks ago.
Damn.
Yeah. And as always, I've got my trusty friend, Miss Bourbon, with me.
Yeah. Who's your friend?
I'm drinking Angel's Envy today.
Oh, okay.
What are you drinking?
I'm
Okay, first
drinking.
of all, I wish everybody could see you're just nonchalantly holding a glass that is literally filled to the brim. And you're just like, what? What do you, what this is 6 fingers worth. What?
I'm drinking Woodford Reserve bourbon,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
but I do have some Sprite in here.
Oh, is that what's making it so?
It's not solid bourbon. Don't be alarmed.
All right. Well, cheers, my friend.
Cheers to you. Clink.
Clink. All right. So, as I said, this first case is about a foiled murder for hire plot targeting a woman by the name of Jennifer Wallace.
Okay.
According to the official criminal complaint filed May 11th, 2023, this criminal complaint was filed in the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Tennessee on April 27th, 2023. So the complaint was filed, but it was taken on April 27th, 2023.
Okay.
Like it was like the complaint was created on April 27th. It was filed on May 11th. So on April 27th, Gregory Martin, a special agent with get a load of this name, the United States Department of Homeland Security, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, Homeland Security Investigations Division.
Good God. Is that how they have to answer their phones?
I don't know. I hope not, because the caller would have died of old age by the time they got done.
Right.
But we here in the United States, we are excellent at creating just obnoxiously long names for
Yeah.
things, especially government related. Anyway, so the United States Department of Homeland Security, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, Homeland Security Investigations Division Special Agent Gregory Martin
Wow.
was the one that gave this affidavit. Homeland Security received details on a murder for hire plot targeting a Jennifer Wallace, an unnamed foreign law enforcement agency. I still can't find the name of this agency, but it was some agency outside of the United States. Sent information to the U.S.'s Homeland Security Investigations Birmingham office. Birmingham is a city in the state of Alabama. This information that this unnamed foreign law enforcement agency sent contained Jennifer Wallace's name, her home address in Prattville, Alabama, and a photograph as the intended target of an active murder for hire plot.
Oh, damn.
So like this foreign agency is like, hey, Homeland, you might want this information about somebody that lives in the US.
Yeah. Look into this, would you?
So that foreign law enforcement agency provided Homeland Security Investigations Birmingham. We're going to call it HSI Birmingham. So that's the Office Division of Homeland Security Investigations. of the broader Homeland Security Customs and Mission
Well,
Enforcement.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this foreign law enforcement agency sent HSI Birmingham copies of specific messages between a user using the handle cat tree. So think
Yeah.
cat tree as one word, cat tree.
Okay.
So messages between cat tree and a site administrator for a website on the dark web known as Online Killer Market.
Yikes.
Online Killer Market is also known as OKM. So we're going to say OKM from now on. So
Ugh.
OKM offers, quote, hitman for hire type services, as well as associated services at the customer's request, such as hacking, kidnapping, extortion, disfigurement by acid attack, and sexual violence.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, in case killing someone is off putting to you, you could rest easier by ordering a sexually violent acid attack.
Oh my god, that is fucked up. And
Yeah.
scary that that exists.
Yeah, it exists, apparently. OKM boasted of having more than 12,000 registered users from countries around the globe, and it openly encouraged members and unregistered users to ask questions they might have of the site administrators, hired hitmen, hired hitwomen, etc., like whatever. Site visitors can create accounts to submit what they call orders, like a hit order,
Oh my
with
god.
their specific requirements and preferences, as well as details on the targeted victims.
How does this website exist?
Yeah, I'll go into that a little bit.
Did you log in? Did you create
I sure
an
didn't, and I'm going to talk
account?
about that too. Okay, so let me just say what happens after you submit an order to OKM, Online Killer Market. Once an order is submitted, the user will receive a quote on how much it will cost to carry out the order, and then a specific hitman or hitwoman is assigned to the order. So they're like
Oh my
processing it. OKM also has an internal email like system where users, hitmen or hitwomen, and the site administrators can connect directly. The only way to pay for services from OKM is by using cryptocurrencies.
I figured, yeah.
Mhm.
Wow.
So, like you were just getting at, this blows my mind. I, when I was researching this, I felt so sheltered. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So I mean, shit. When I heard about incognito searching in Chrome, I couldn't even figure out how to get to an incognito tab. I
Yeah.
was like, wait, do you mean there's like Spidey secret searching in Chrome? Like I couldn't figure out how do you access the dark web? I've heard that the dark web exists. I just picture in my mind a bunch of black screens with white
Yeah.
letters, but
I
I
mean,
don't
I've
know.
never needed
Do you just go into
like
like Chrome's
heroin
Google
or a
search?
hitman, so I don't
Yeah. Or do you need any like babies or anything? Like
I could I need a kidney, a baby, and
I
some
think that's what the
peyote.
dark web is. Some peyote.
Where can I go?
Well, do you just use like Google and say, how do I access the dark web? Like, how do you even get
I
to the dark web?
I don't know.
So I was too scared to try. So you asked if I had like looked up how to get on the dark web. I had this like this mental image of Homeland Security agents like 3 minutes later busting through my door with machine guns or rappelling down the side of my friggin' house.
Yeah.
So I decided not to. So apparently this online killers market was a live active and used website on the dark web with like its whole intention of being in existence was to allow someone to harm, permanently maim, or kill another. It's just wild. It's just wild to
Man.
me that shit like that exists. So I was like, how does the government not just monitor all of these things and like pick up on traffic? Well, I was like looking into it and I read a bunch of articles, and basically the gist of it is that trying to hire a hitman online is pretty much guaranteed to fail. Like it's not your best idea. It's not your
Right.
best idea. So some guy, I assume it's a guy, it could be a girl, but somebody
It's
started up a website with the name rentahitman.com. So it
stealth.
was designed, it was set up as a gag. It was just
Oh.
it was a joke to see like, "Oh, I wonder what would happen. I wonder what would come out of the woodwork if I just created this rentahitman.com site." This site now has a direct line to the FBI, and it reports all requests that come in that appear to be serious threats because people are using it.
Oh my god.
I know. So it's unclear, truly, it's unclear if Online Killers Market or OKM truly was like a legitimate hitman website. Some say it was a sham, some say it wasn't, but people still use it, as well as rentahitman.com. If you're listening to this, please don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't
Don't.
don't hire hitmen.
Yeah. You might get into this, but does it say like how someone gets qualified to be like an official hit person? Like, do they have ratings? Like,
It's
Carl has 27 stars.
like an Uber rating.
Yeah. Or can you just sign up and be like, yeah, I can be an assassin. Fuck it, whatever. And they're like, okay, cool. We'll start
Yeah.
sending you quotes. Or do they like vet you and make sure that you're like a legit hit person?
All extremely valid questions and very similar to the questions I had. And
Okay.
so I started like down that little hole of how do you even become a hit woman or a hitman? And so I started doing a couple of Google searches and then I stopped because
You're getting flagged.
yeah, and there's a lot of crazy shit out there that I
Mhm.
just ignorance is bliss sometimes, and I would rather be ignorant when it comes to how you can actually qualify yourself to be a hit woman or
Right.
a hitman. So I don't know the answer to that, but
It's
if you
okay.
find out, please let me know.
I am not Googling any of that shit.
The only thing I'm really good at is I can throw a mean, unerringly accurate Chinese throwing star.
How do you know that?
Do you not have a permanent throwing star wall in your backyard like we do? Like, is that
I
crazy?
don't.
Yeah.
But teach me.
I have the it factor, girl. I don't know that I can teach you that.
You just got it or you
I
don't.
just got I just picked up a Chinese throwing star one day and I threw it and it
Killed
hit
a
its
man?
mark and I was like, "Oh." And so I've just been doing it ever since. I don't know.
I guess I've never been in a room and been like, oh, a Chinese throwing star. Let me see. I've just never encountered one, I can't say. So
Yeah.
kudos to you, my friend.
Thank you. It's one of my icebreakers. Um anyway, the user Cat Tree placed a
Yes.
hit order on OKM on January 11th, 2023. So January 11th is when the actual order was filled out and submitted. And this order provided details on Jennifer Wallace as the intended target. And according to the official criminal complaint, that's the complaint that Special Agent Gregory Martin, what's it like he was interviewed for, he gave a deposition or he relayed his facts of the case or whatever. Anyway, that criminal complaint was filed to establish probable cause for the purpose of arresting the hit requester, Cattree, and taking that person into custody. So they wanted
Okay.
to establish probable cause so that they could go through the legal process of investigating, hunting this person down, tracing, and then arresting and charging.
Gotcha. Okay.
Cattree asked in this order that this hit, quote, needs to seem random or accident, or plant drugs, do not want a long investigation. Cattree goes on to say she recently moved in with her new husband. She works at home and in office in Birmingham, meaning Alabama. She works at Wide Orbit, and then Cattree gives the office address of Wide Orbit, but it's redacted in the criminal complaint. There's a lot
Okay.
of redaction, but it didn't redact enough where you could pretty much tell who it was and what it was. And also, Jennifer Wallace's name was all over other media reports. So having it redacted in the official complaint didn't make any sense, but whatever. Anyway, so Jennifer Wallace works at Wide Orbit in Hoover, Alabama. So she works in Hoover, and when she works in office, she works later. She drives a blue Subaru Outback with Alabama license plate number redacted. Her husband drives a maroon Jeep Grand Cherokee with Alabama license plate number redacted. Her husband works at Publix part time. Publix is a grocery store chain you can find in the South. And they have 3 dogs that bark and jump, but nice dogs. This was all one sentence
Jesus Christ.
with terrible grammar. Just saying. So, when the unnamed foreign law enforcement agency sent HSI Birmingham this information, HSI Birmingham started to investigate the claims and they were starting to find them to be accurate.
Shit.
They also discovered that Cat Tree had attached a photo of Jennifer Wallace to the OKM order that this person put in to ensure the hitman or woman would kill the right person. Like, God forbid, we don't want a mistaken identity here.
Yeah.
HSI Birmingham also learned that while the date of the order submitted to OKM was January 11th, 2023, Cattree had actually contacted OKM and paid a deposit through a CoinHub Bitcoin ATM machine on December 31st of 2022. After Cattree placed the hit order on January 11th, this person continued to message OKM's site administrator requesting updates on the job's progress. Like, it wasn't going fast enough. On March 22nd, 2023, more than 2 months after ordering and paying a down payment for the hit, Cattree wrote to OKM, quote, "I have waited 2 months and 11 days and the job is still not complete. 2 weeks ago you said it was been worked on and would be done in a week. The job is still not done. Does it need to be assigned to someone else? Will it be done? What is the delay? When will it be done?"
I have so many questions.
6 days later, on March 28th, OKM responded. So clearly there's a lack of sense of urgency.
Yeah.
They're not on the same page. Anyway, OKM's response was, quote, "Hello, she is not aware. I assume she is referring to Jennifer Wallace. Hello, she is not aware. He just failed as he did not attempt it yet. He felt like it's too risky for him to do it. Regards, admin."
Also, chill your tits. Way too many fucking questions.
I can't even with this grammar stuff, but also I snorted out loud. All of the messages from the OKM's administrator they're signed regards admin. Just think I'm like, it's so formal for such a dirty, janky thing that they're doing. Regards.
And their responses are so informal
They are, and it's
and
hard to
just
read.
unprofessional and like
Mhm.
just fucked up. And then they're like, regards, admin.
Yes.
Like, we're on it.
Yes.
Okay.
My sincerest regards. To which Cattree responded less than an hour later, quote, "Yesterday she worked from home and went for a 2-mile walk by herself, assigned to another that can complete the job." Okay, so now we've got some stalking going on. I see the look on your
Yeah.
face. Your eyeballs are so big.
Jesus.
You look like an anime character.
Cool.
OKM's response the next day, March 29th, was, quote, "Hello, I have 2 other hitmen that I can assign on the job, but one wants 0 to 49 Bitcoin and the other wants 0.485 Bitcoin. Which one should I assign?" All one sentence. Wait. Regards, admin.
I'll take the one that will take 0 Bitcoin, please. What the fuck? Like,
I looked, so 0.485, so not even like half of a Bitcoin at the time was worth about 7,500 US dollars. Cattree responded the evening of March 29th, quote, "Assigned a 0.485, I will add Bitcoin."
they are impatient.
Yes. So I don't know if you know anything about Bitcoin. I don't know shit about
I don't.
Bitcoin.
I do not.
So we're going to do a little bit of a rabbit hole here because it's good to have this background information just so you can understand like the fucking hassle that this person went through to pay for this hit because they only take cryptocurrency. And you can't
Yeah.
just boop doop doop walk into a bank here in the United States and grab yourself some cryptocurrency. That's not how it works. So apparently, Bitcoin is virtual currency. I guess there's different kinds. Bitcoin is one kind. Sent and received via the internet, and it's not issued or regulated by banking institutions, normal companies, or the United States government, or any government for that matter, from what I could tell. but rather it's managed through like a peer-to-peer network that's decentralized, so it's just all over the globe through computer software,
Hmm.
which sounds shady to me.
Yeah, sounds shady as
What do
fuck.
I know? I guess if you want to transact using Bitcoin, you do this by using, you have to have a Bitcoin address, which is somewhat similar to like a bank account number. So it
Hmm.
like
Okay.
identifies your account, I guess. Basically, at the end of the day, it's just a unique identifier to keep track of who's who and who's transacting what.
Okay.
Bitcoin addresses are case sensitive. They're composed of letters and numbers, and they can range anywhere from like 26 characters to 35 characters.
Damn. Okay.
In addition to having a Bitcoin address, a transaction must also have a unique private key assigned to the Bitcoin address. So this private key acts as like a password or a PIN. It's like an authenticator, if you will, that allows the user to authorize incoming and outgoing transfers of Bitcoin.
Okay.
So, how you get Bitcoin is you have to purchase, you can purchase any amount, but you have to purchase it through what's known as a virtual currency exchange, which is just a business that deals with virtual currency, including Bitcoin. Customers usually pay for Bitcoin with their country's prevailing currency. So think the US dollar, Mexican peso, the euro, it doesn't matter. Virtual currency exchanges exist as either physical stores or they can be online. So you can transact online, you can go into a store. This makes me think of fast money stores or
Yeah.
like pawn stores where you walk in and it's like, or Western Union. Remember Western Unions? I don't
Mm-hmm.
even know if those still exist, but while Bitcoin is not regulated by banks or the government, it is beholden to the Bank Secrecy Act, which is regulated by the government and which requires any virtual currency exchange operating within the United States to collect identifying information on all customers, as well as requires the verification of all customer identities. So, not only are virtual currency exchanges required to make sure that they know who's doing what and they keep a record of that, but then they also have to verify that the person is who they say they are,
Gotcha. Okay.
which is good, I suppose.
Yeah,
This
that's
is how
something.
Bitcoin transactions are able to be traced to the sender and receiver.
Okay.
To transact using Bitcoin, meaning you're purchasing something and using Bitcoin to pay for it, you have to send basically like a transaction announcement. Like I think of like save the date before
Mm.
weddings, like, hey everyone, I just want to let you know I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to authorize a transaction to pay you Bitcoin. I just wanted to let you know that is coming. I'm announcing this forthcoming transaction. That's kind of what it is.
Huh.
And when you send this announcement, your private key is attached to the announcement, and that private key acts as your electronic signature. You only need two pieces of information to send Bitcoin to someone. You need the receiver's Bitcoin address, like their account number, and your own private key, which is your authorization to send the money. And within the transaction itself, there is little, if any, personal identifying information between the sender and the receiver. So they don't know who each other is. So anonymity reigns supreme. However, every single Bitcoin transaction is recorded on the blockchain. You've heard of blockchain,
Yeah. Yeah.
which the way I think of blockchains, they remind me of like virtual checkbook ledgers or like virtual checkbook registers, or for my fellow Excel spreadsheet geeks, it's like a big spreadsheet that captures the details of every single transaction, who conducted it, the time, everything, how much, where it happened, who it went to, etc. So transactions are actually identifiable and traceable if necessary. So, in order for Special Agent Gregory Martin to figure out who user Cattree was, he went through the legal process to obtain a subpoena and he served it to CoinHub, which was the cryptocurrency ATM company that operates around the world, but it's based in the United States and was the virtual currency exchange that handled the Cattree user transactions.
Hmm.
So,
Okay.
CoinHub was where Cattree went to transact in Bitcoin. And under this subpoena, CoinHub sent all the transaction details and data to Special Agent Martin related to the user Cattree and specifically for the murder for hire order on Jennifer Wallace. This is when Special Agent Martin learned that the user Catry was, in fact, a 47-year-old woman by the name of Melody Sasser of Knoxville, Tennessee. Do you know her? Is she your friend?
Yeah, it's my cousin.
Well, Miss Melody Sasser had on 4 separate occasions purchased Bitcoin with cash for the purposes of this hit order.
Damn.
The first transaction took place on December 31st, 2022, like I said, and that was her initial pre deposit. She deposited 1,000 US dollars into that CoinHub ATM, and after fees and such, she transferred $751 worth of Bitcoin to a specific Bitcoin address she was given to use to pay for the murder for hire plot. So her
Jeez.
first down payment was 1,000 US dollars worth of Bitcoin. Her second was on January 28th, so a couple of weeks after she placed the order, she deposited another 1,300 US dollars and transferred 1,027 worth of Bitcoin. March 29th saw the third transaction of 2,000 US dollars being deposited into this CoinHub ATM and transferring $1,579 worth of Bitcoin. The final transaction took place on April 2nd, 2023, when Sasser deposited just 510 US dollars and transferred $402 worth of Bitcoin. In all, Sasser spent just over $4,800 on a murder hit down payment, which was about half of the total order quote. It was going to cost a little under 10 grand to carry this order out, not counting the extra $7,500 to reassign it to a new hit person.
Right? Jesus.
Along with the down payment details, HSI Birmingham also received photos taken at the ATM Sasser used to conduct the transaction, which physically identified her and matched the photo they obtained from her driver's license as well as her public Facebook profile. The phone number they received was linked to an AT&T account under the name Melody Sasser and was also the same phone number on the driver's license application for a Melody Sasser. And all this confirmed that Melody Sasser was the individual that ordered the hit on Jennifer Wallace, sent the messages to OKM site administrators regarding the status of said order, and sent the 4 separate Bitcoin transactions as a down payment for the order.
Oh my God. Melody.
Yeah.
The
Now
fuck?
that the user Catry was identified, before HSI Birmingham transferred the suspect part of this case to HSI Knoxville, so Sasser lived in Knoxville, Jennifer Wallace lived in Prattville, Alabama. So we've got Birmingham HSI working the Alabama piece, and they were going to transfer the suspect part to Knoxville HSI because Knoxville is where Sasser lives. So like
Okay.
we got interstate lines, agencies working together. It's the
Right.
same
Yeah.
agency, different locations. Anyway, I actually like this part because I think it's kind of funny. I feel like somebody had a sense of humor and I think they were like, wait. Okay. Before we give Sasser to our Knoxville bros, let's see if she answers a message. Let's message her through WhatsApp and see if she answers it. So they did like a mini undercover operation and they attempted to contact Melody Sasser through WhatsApp using the mobile phone number that they had.
Dearest Cattree.
She never responded to the bait, which is a
Hmm.
bummer. I don't know what the message was. I tried finding that. It's not reported anywhere that I could see, but I just wanted to like, hey, it's Doug. Remember me? Any
Yeah.
interest in going out for dinner Thursday night? I don't know. Anyway, so they're going to transfer the suspect part to Knoxville, or at least bring Knoxville HSI into it. Meanwhile, Jennifer Wallace doesn't know anything that's going on. She has no idea that her life is in danger and that a hit has been taken out on her. So HSI Birmingham contacted the Prattville, Alabama Police Department and notified Jennifer Wallace that she was the intended target for a murder for hire plot and that her life was very likely in danger. So Prattville PD engaged a patrol detail to monitor Wallace's house while HSI Birmingham engaged with Wallace and advised her of the threat. During their interview with Wallace, she freely named Melody Sasser as
Oh,
someone that she thought they might want to look into and who she suspected was behind this plot.
you are right.
Yeah, she was right. Wallace told investigators that Sasser and her now husband David Wallace had met on Match.com sometime in 2020 and had become hiking buddies when David also lived in Knoxville before moving to Prattville. David met Jennifer and they began dating. Then they became engaged. And at which point, David and Jennifer, they moved to Prattville, Alabama.
Okay.
When Sasser learned of David's engagement to Jennifer and that he had moved to Prattville, Sasser made the 5+ hour drive from Knoxville to David's house. How she found his house, I don't know, but she found it, to his house in Prattville and showed up on his doorstep unexpectedly and rang the doorbell.
Oh.
And after a brief discussion where David told her yet again that he was engaged to be married to Jennifer and that Jennifer was the one that he loved and he was going to spend the rest of his life with her, Sasser reportedly responded, quote, "I hope you both fall off a cliff and die,"
Oh my.
which is a little
Okay.
aggressive. It was a little aggressive.
Wow.
In the
She's
fall of
intense.
2022,
Mhm.
Jennifer Wallace made a police report regarding damages done to her car. It appeared someone had dragged a key down both sides, completely ruining the paint and requiring a complete paint job, which is
Yikes.
very, very expensive. And
Yeah.
after this incident, Jennifer Wallace started receiving disturbing phone calls on her mobile phone by someone using a device to electronically disguise their voice, which is
Oh.
creepy enough as it is.
Yeah.
And each call seemed to come from a different phone number. So every time she would like look at her, Jennifer would look at her phone, it would be like some different phone number. It seemed like these calls were coming from a different phone number every time, which led Special Agent Martin to believe that the calls were likely originating through voice over IP or VoIP. I'm not sure how that works. Or were at the very least computer generated phone numbers in order to disguise the true phone number from which the perpetrator was calling.
Wow.
Anyway, all that to say, Jennifer Wallace was like, pretty sure this is Melody Sasser. Pretty sure
Yeah.
she's the one that's doing the stupid phone calls. Pretty sure she's the one that keep a goddamn car. Pretty sure. This part's the creepy part. Not that murder for hire isn't creepy, but this is creepy. Disturbingly, HSI Birmingham was able to put together a timeline of events based on Jennifer Wallace's fitness activity. Both she and David used the fitness tracker app Strava to record their workouts, and they had Strava linked with their Garmin watches in order to share their location data, get accurate metrics, friends with each other, etc. I mean, lots of us who have Apple Watches do the same thing. The messages to OKM's administrator about where and how far Jennifer walked on a specific day, or that she was working from home on a specific day, or that she was working in the office in Hoover on a specific day, perfectly lined up with the activity on the Strava app. This led investigators to determine that Sasser had the ability to stalk both Jennifer and David through the Strava app because they didn't have their shit set to private.
Oh.
Yeah. When
Yikes.
David Wallace was interviewed, he confirmed, yes, I did meet Melody Sasser on Match.com. Yes, we started hanging out. We weren't really seeing each other, although I will tell you that nowhere in research could I conclusively determine whether or not David and Sasser had a romantic relationship.
Okay.
I don't, I get the impression that it hadn't turned into one yet, but that Sasser really wanted it to, and David probably didn't. And like
Right.
looked at her like a friend,
Yeah.
even though they met on Match. Anyway, so he did confirm all of this and basically said that Sasser had helped him plan his Appalachian Trail hike. I don't know if he did a hike through, it takes about 6 months. I doubt it. I think he probably just hiked a little bit of it. And when he was gone, she offered to look after his car while he was gone. And so she just made sure it was fine. I don't know why his car specifically, but she took care of it while he was away on his hike. And he also confirmed that he knew Sasser worked as an environmental compliance specialist at a company called Pilot Headquarters in Knoxville, Tennessee. So I learned, I'm like, Pilot Headquarters, is this like Pilots Union? Is it
It's just where they
the
hang
cool
out.
kid club for pilots?
Yeah.
Anyway, have you heard of Pilot Flying J truck stops?
Yes.
Yeah, they're all over the place. It's
Ah,
the headquarters for the
for the
Pilot Flying J truck stop chain.
gotcha. Okay.
And David was able to positively identify the car Sasser drove when he was shown a photograph of a vehicle investigators suspected was hers. And he also positively identified Sasser when he was shown a photograph after he provided a physical description that matched the description investigators had already received and which matched the photograph.
Mm, okay.
Next, HSI Birmingham turned its attention to phone records and were able to trace the random phone numbers Jennifer Wallace had received on her mobile phone to Sasser's mobile phone number. So they were able to work their way through the electronic tracing of it all and traced it back to her as originating from her own personal mobile phone number. 3 calls were made from Sasser's phone to Jennifer Wallace's phone on November 7th, 2022, and 6 calls on November 14th, 2022, validating Jennifer's claim of having received a number of prank calls.
Mm, okay.
So it was just those 2 days. It coincided around the time of when she showed up unannounced on their doorstep,
Mm,
which
okay.
also coincided with around the time that Jennifer's car was keyed. Then HSI Birmingham started working its way through the traffic cameras and was able to find, using license plate reader cameras, footage of Sasser's suspected vehicle in close proximity to Jennifer's workplace in Hoover, Alabama.
Damn.
When
It's creepy.
checked, motor vehicle records showed that the 2020 Hyundai Santa Fe caught on the license plate reader cameras was indeed registered to a Melody Sasser. Both Jennifer and David Wallace confirmed that the Hyundai Santa Fe was the same vehicle they had seen Sasser driving and was the same vehicle she was driving when she showed up at their house unannounced in 2022. The icing on the cake was when HSI Knoxville investigators confirmed that it was the same vehicle they observed parked outside Pilot headquarters where Sasser worked. So it's all triangulating perfectly.
Yeah.
Investigators also pulled the photographs of the Coin Hub ATM Sasser allegedly used to transfer Bitcoin for the murder down payment. The Coin Hub ATM captures a photograph of every single person that does a transaction. Part of its identification verification process, the 4 separate photographs from the 4 separate transactions Sasser performed at the ATM machine matched the photograph on Sasser's driver's license, as well as the photographs on her public Facebook profile.
Hmm.
Don't you think that if you're going to order a hit for someone's murder that you should set your Facebook settings to private
I mean, one would think.
and get maybe a burner phone
Yeah, you might be a
and
little
maybe
more discreet. Yeah.
use a rental car if you're
Hmm.
going to show up someplace unannounced? I'm not trying to give a guide on how to get away with hiring for a murder, but
You're
damn.
basically writing a pamphlet
Yeah,
for
basically.
it.
Anyway, so the investigators really did a nice job hunting down all the tangible evidence: the ATM photographs, the Bitcoin wallets and addresses, the verification phone number Sasser used for the CoinHub service. It all linked Sasser to the OKM user cat tree. So they were 99.99% sure. In the criminal complaint, Special Agent Martin stated, quote, "I believe Sasser necessarily used a facility in interstate and foreign commerce, specifically the internet, to arrange for the murder of Jennifer Wallace. Specifically, Sasser used the internet to arrange murders in exchange for money. Sasser further used the internet to provide the would-be killer with Jennifer Wallace's name, address, a description of her vehicle, and a specific place where Jennifer Wallace could be found. In exchange for Jennifer Wallace's murder, Sasser used the internet to transmit Bitcoin with an approximate total value of $9,750 on the dates outlined herein. Based upon the information provided in this affidavit, I respectfully submit there is probable cause to establish that Melody Sasser attempted to hire a hitman to murder Jennifer Wallace in violation of Title 18, United States Code Section 1958, murder for hire. Also,
Jeez.
the United States Code has a specific section for murder for hire. Just so you know,
Wow.
you can't do that, James. You're
Okay.
violating US code.
Okay.
According to a WBIR 10 News article written by John North on November 17th of 2023, when authorities searched Sasser's Knoxville, Tennessee home, they found the following evidentiary items: a stack of US currency underneath a sticky note that listed a Bitcoin address sitting next to a piece of paper listing personal information about the victim, Jennifer Wallace. Try not to laugh at these. A journal that contained a list of .onion URLs. Maybe that's how you get to the dark web. Maybe it's instead of .com, it's .onion. I don't know.
Fuck, I
That
don't
could
know.
be traced back to other hitman websites, usernames and passwords, and a handwritten summary of communications with OKM, along with a list of money she had paid to OKM,
Oh my God.
and a laptop that contained a photo of Jennifer Wallace that matched the photo sent to OKM. I can't even with the stupidity here.
Yeah.
She made no effort to
Fucking trail for days.
she made no
I
effort.
mean, come on now.
According to a news release from the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Eastern District of Tennessee, Sasser was arrested and charged with murder for hire on May 18th, 2023, 1 week after the official criminal complaint seeking to establish probable cause was filed. On June 7th, 2023, Sasser was indicted on one count of, quote, use of interstate commerce facilities in the commission of murder for hire. And on June 21st, she was arraigned in federal court where she pleaded not guilty to the charges.
Girl. They got so much shit on you.
I
Come
wonder if
on.
lawyers say your initial plea should always be not guilty. I don't know.
Probably. But
Well, it didn't work. Magistrate Judge Deborah C. Poplin and District Court Judge Thomas A. Varlin were assigned the case, and Assistant U.S. Attorney Anne Marie Svolto was assigned as the prosecutor and will represent the United States. On Monday, November 13th, 2023, Sasser finally agreed to plead guilty of paying a hitman using the dark web to kill someone. Sasser, along with her attorney M. Jeffrey Whitt, for my Family Guy peeps, signed a plea deal admitting to a federal count of murder for hire. Assistant U.S. Attorney Anne Marie Svolto accepted the plea deal, but she faces up to 10 years in prison, a $250,000 fine, restitution, and a maximum 3-year term of supervised release.
wow. Is there like an automatic restraining order that's included in that?
And I didn't see that it was.
Yikes.
Do you know, though, restraining orders they're just a piece of
It's
paper.
true,
People don't
but
listen to them.
it's a start. If it's already in place, like it's something at least. Like if they ever saw her, then she'd probably be right back in prison.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Like if that was
Yeah,
in place, like the day that she got out. But
that's true.
anyway,
That's true.
Ugh.
And I don't know what they mean by restitution.
Yeah.
How can she make up for what she did? I don't know. Anyway,
Right. Yeah.
she's also no longer employed with Pilot. And you'll be happy to note that OKM has been allegedly shut down.
Okay. Good.
It's quote unquote now defunct, apparently.
Okay.
This would be a good case study for, in my opinion, a discussion on how Sasser's thought processes took her down the path of murder. She planned this out over the course of several months. She spent thousands of dollars. She deliberately thought through how she wanted the murder to look. She intentionally researched and found a hitman site on the dark web. She figured out how to get to the frickin' dark web. She went through the effort to set up a Bitcoin address and a private key. She drove the 5+ hours from Knoxville to Prattville to stalk Jennifer and David at least twice. She's not crazy. She's not insane. How does a sane person get the idea that murdering someone is a good idea in their head, develop a plan, and then put that plan in motion over the course of many, many months and not ever think about what the hell am I doing? How does that even work?
And what's the end game? That his wife is murdered and he's going to be heartbroken and then decide that he does want to be with her? Like, what the fuck? Like, what was her plan in
I don't
getting rid
know.
of her?
Maybe she was thinking like if she got Jennifer out of the way, then she could like console David. If he didn't want you in the first place, he's not going to want you now.
Yeah.
And why do you want somebody that doesn't want you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, I think it's a perfect case study. I just can't wrap my brain around how somebody can do this, something like that's the whole reason that I am so attracted to true crime, because I work to understand why people do what they do and how they get there. I just want
Right.
to
Yeah.
understand how they get there.
Yeah.
Because at
Same.
some point that idea has to be born. How does it I just don't know. It just blows my mind. Anyway, Jennifer Wallace is alive and safe today, as is
Good, thank
David.
goodness.
She was not hurt. So, with the second case I'm bringing you today, we're pivoting a bit. While Jennifer Wallace, like I said, she wasn't ultimately harmed, Jaelyn Walker wasn't as lucky.
Hmm.
And Jaelyn was only 14 years old.
Ugh.
At 12:35 a.m. on Tuesday, August 20th, Amanda Gullickson contacted the Moorhead Police Department and reported her 14-year-old daughter, Jaelyn Walker, missing when she didn't come home. According to a KTSP ABC Channel 5 news article written by Morgan Redekop on August 21st, Gullickson told police that she was able to track Jalen's whereabouts using the Snapchat app. I didn't know you could do that. She told them to look for her being Jaelyn, to look for Jaelyn along a bike trail situated near the intersection of Elm Street and 6th Avenue South. When officers were dispatched to look for Jaelyn, they found her body along the trail in a wooded area by the Red River. She had been stabbed.
Aw.
Police found a knife and quite a bit of blood by her body, indicating to them that the knife was likely the murder weapon, and the place they found Jaelyn was likely the crime scene. As police immediately started an investigation into Jalen's murder, they quickly connected an important piece to the case. According to an MSN article written by David Harris on the 27th of August, around 11 p.m. on August 19th, about 90 minutes before Amanda Gullickson reported Jaelyn missing, 18-year-old Isaac Arndt walked into the Clay County Law Enforcement Center and reported an assault. Arndt told police that he and Jaelyn were hanging out at Gooseberry Park in Moorhead when all of a sudden a, quote, unknown white male started following them. Arndt recounted that the unknown man started stabbing at him when he tried to get away, and Arndt sustained 2 cuts to his fingers during the scuffle.
Okay.
Arndt was taken to the hospital to address his wounds. Moorhead detectives caught up with him there at the hospital and questioned him more about what happened and how Jaelyn came to be killed, because everything he said had nothing to do with Jaelyn.
Yeah.
So they're like, okay, that's fine and dandy. What the fuck happened to Jaelyn?
Yeah. What the fuck? Yeah, right?
While Arndt shared mostly the same story with the detectives as he had shared when he reported his assault, there were enough inconsistencies between the stories that the detectives' suspicions were raised. They're like, no, this guy knows more than he's saying. So as their questioning continued, Arndt eventually admitted that he and Jaelyn had dated for several months, but that it had recently ended. When they were at the park, Jaelyn wanted to know who his new girlfriend was, but Arndt refused to tell her, which apparently caused Jaelyn to allegedly start hitting and kicking him. So naturally, Arndt pulled out a knife and started stabbing her.
Oh, like you fucking do. Good God.
When it was all over, Arndt had stabbed Jaelyn roughly 13 times.
Wow.
In actuality, Arndt revealed in a second interview with detectives and prosecutors that Jaelyn was laying on the ground, quote, suffering, after he had stabbed her many times. So he leaned over her, cut her throat, then gave her a hug and stabbed her a final time in the back. Then he dragged her lifeless body to the riverbank and left her there. And he admitted that Jaelyn was most definitely dead when he left. Isn't that is just so fucking brutal?
Mm.
So brutal.
And just that he's so like nonchalant about it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what happened.
Could you imagine being the detectives that were hearing this story?
Like trying to just keep a straight face to keep him talking, but like,
Mm-hmm.
mm-mm.
He was standing over her. He saw that she was suffering. He leaned over, he cut her throat, and he gave her a hug and he stabbed her in the back a final time. Are you fucking kidding me? He's
That is,
18. She's
ugh,
14.
that is
It's
awful.
horrifying. With this confession, detectives set out to validate his story. Here's what they've discovered so far. They found bloody socks and towels hidden in a kitchen cupboard and blood-stained toilet paper in the bathroom through a search of Arndt's Fargo home. So, Moorhead is a town on the North Dakota Minnesota border, but it's in Minnesota.
Okay.
Fargo is in North Dakota, but it's on the border of Minnesota. So, Moorhead and Fargo are like right next to each other. They're just in
Gotcha.
different states. Yeah. Gooseberry Park security footage that showed Arndt emerging out of the wooded area where Jalen's body was found shows him leaving on an electric scooter. And as he's leaving, he's discarding items in the area where authorities eventually recovered Jalen's cell phone, her mobile phone.
So he's just tossing shit like a paper boy on his
Exactly.
scooter. Oh my
Yes,
god.
that's the exact mental image. Yes. Text messages on Jalen's phone between her and Arndt agreeing to meet at Gooseberry Park at 7:30 p.m. that evening, though the reason for the meeting wasn't shared. I'm sure it was in her texts, but it wasn't shared in media.
Hmm.
And witnesses that put two people matching the descriptions of Jaelyn and Art in Gooseberry Park that evening. And of course, Arndt's detailed confession. So this is what
Right.
investigators have so far. Right now, Arndt is being held in the Clay County Jail on a $1 million bond for second-degree murder with intention, not premeditated. His next court date is scheduled for this month on the 19th, September 19th. If
Damn.
convicted, Arndt faces up to 40 years in prison. Okay, I don't understand the difference between first-degree murder, which is premeditated murder, and second-degree murder with intent. I don't understand the difference. I think there's a really fine line between intent and premeditation. But what I don't understand is how bringing a knife with you to a meeting with your ex girlfriend that you then use to stab your ex girlfriend, how that's not premeditated.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, unless it's something that he just carried with him all the time,
I mean, I
just
guess.
happened to have, but
I suppose a lot of people do that. They carry pocket
yeah,
knives with
but
them.
still.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't understand the difference. It feels premeditated to me, but you're right. He could just always carry a pocket knife. And then when he took it out, he intended to murder her, but he hadn't planned to murder her. I could see that.
Did they give any details about the actual weapon?
No, no details
Okay.
about the knife. There were no like there's very, very little because it happened like 2.5 weeks ago. There's very little out there.
Yeah, because I mean, it's like if it's a pocket knife versus a fucking buck knife or
Yeah, or like a kitchen knife that he
yeah.
had they yeah, nope, there was nothing.
Okay.
No description. Jaelyn would have started her first year of high school
Oh my god.
whenever her school started. Her funeral, instead of her going to high school, she was buried. Her funeral was held on August 27th, and she was buried at Evergreen Memorial Cemetery in Moorhead.
Damn.
The obituary Jalen's family wrote gave a glimpse into the kind of kid she was. Quote, Jay was our beautiful, blue eyed, fearless, and feisty girl who loved singing, and although she kept it to herself, she had a beautiful voice. Her quiet time was spent in her room after making herself her macaroni and tomato juice, which was her favorite. If you had the privilege of being her friend, she would let you join too, as she loved her closest friends fiercely. You'd never find Jay in anything but sweatpants and a sweatshirt, wrapped in one of her favorite blankets with a power fan blowing in her face. That is my girl. If it wasn't comfy, she wasn't having it.
Right,
She
girl?
sounds pretty rad.
Yeah.
Her parents, Amanda Gullickson and Ryan Walker, and her siblings, Elijah, Jordan, and Sarah, are grieving her devastating loss. I can't
Mm,
even imagine what they're going through right now. Their lives are irrevocably altered.
yeah.
So, Moorhead police are still actively gathering evidence and statements, and they are particularly interested in speaking with two individuals who they believe gave Arndt two different rides on Monday evening, August 19th, the evening that he met Jaelyn at Gooseberry Park. One ride to the 1700 block of Fifth Avenue South in Fargo, and the second to the Moorhead Police Department when he reported the assault,
Mm,
the fake
okay.
assault. They are also still trying to locate Arndt's cell phone that he discarded after killing Jaelyn. It's a Samsung Galaxy in an orange case. So if you have any information or you know anyone that might have any information related to Jaelyn Walker's murder, please call the Red River Regional Dispatch Center at 701 451 7660. Pretty sure Isaac acted alone, but there might be some accessories after the fact
Yeah.
or before the fact. The Moorhead Police Department is doing everything they should be doing to make sure that her murder is effectively resolved and solved.
Right. Yeah. I hope so. Damn, that's fucking sad.
Yeah. So I wanted to that one just happened like a couple weeks ago. It's still ongoing. Um, not a lot to it, but I wanted to slip that in there just to bring awareness
Yeah, yeah,
if
for
anybody knows
sure.
anything. Yeah.
Man.
This particular case was actually so Nate, my son, he texted me and he's like, "Hey, is there any way that you can squeeze this into an upcoming recording because this just happened and it would be great to get the information out in the event anybody knows anything." Because Nate goes to school up in the Fargo Moorhead area. So, yeah, he's kind of keen to doing his part in the community. So,
Yeah. Well, thank you, Nate. That's awesome. And
yeah,
hopefully this case,
14.
my
My
God,
God,
I can't even.
just a baby.
Ay, ay, ay. Just getting ready to start high school.
Mhm.
So fucking sad.
Yeah. As always, if you like us, subscribe, rate, do the things. We appreciate
Yeah.
you.
It helps the show out a lot if we get positive ratings and
Mhm.
reviews. It helps the show grow, which
Yeah.
is how we're able to keep doing this. So we appreciate
Yeah.
it. And we thank you for listening.
And with that, bye, Jamie.
Goodbye, Carrie.
Um, question.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And you call me Sweet Tits.
Yes, yes, big time.
They're gems.
You okay? Need a lozenge?
I got a frog in my throat.
Also, do you think that a cat tree is a pussy willow?
Ay, ay, ay.
Oh, you looking fancy as fuck over there, girl.
I mean, yeah.
Fuck off.
She can come home.
Where'd everybody fucking go?